And joining us now on the program today, we are talking about wireworms and why we should be concerned and watching for wireworm pressure in our fields. Joining us now with BASF, Hannah Cymny is with us. Hannah, great to catch up with you. Thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely, Jesse. Thanks for having me.
Let's dive in and talk about wireworms. And I know that recently BASF, CHS were in Montana wheat fields looking at different bait ball traps, looking and checking for that wireworm pressure. And I know that now that we're getting into our growing season, planting is done, wireworms are something we definitely need to keep an eye on. Can you just start and give us some thoughts on why growers need to be concerned about wireworm pressure?
Yeah, absolutely, Jesse. So I think, first and foremost, growers should be thinking about their yield right from the beginning. And wireworms can really destroy the wheat crop if you don't get on top of it. So I think using a seed treatment like Taraxa or Taraxa F4 is extremely crucial to be sure to protect your wheat fields from wireworms.
Well, and thinking about wireworm pressure and obviously protecting it right from the get-go, you mentioned some great products there. I have to think weather obviously plays a factor. We've seen different bouts of moisture throughout parts of the northern plains, scattered moisture, a lot of areas getting dry though once again. So when it comes to wireworms and getting out and scouting for wireworms, when should growers really be paying attention? Dry conditions, wet conditions, both? What's your thoughts there?
Yep, growers should definitely consider monitoring their soil temperature in the field until it nears or reaches 45 degrees. And then look at about 4 inches below the soil surface as your depth to monitor for wireworms. That's really where you're going to find them, especially in dry conditions.
Well, Hannah, tell me a little bit as well. I think about wireworms. They're not very big, but why are they so devastating in our fields? Can you explain that a little bit?
Sure, I can. And I think it's really important to remember that wireworm populations expand exponentially, first off and foremost. Their destruction is immense, reducing a wheat yield by 50% if not controlled. And 50% yield loss on just 20 acres of a 300-acre field could cost a farmer thousands of dollars.
And obviously getting out scouting is a major part of this. We talk about it quite a bit, whether you're looking at a wheat field or a cornfield or soybean, et cetera, but making sure you get out and get some boots on the ground or maybe even a drone or whatever the case may be. I know we have a lot of different options nowadays, but getting out and scouting is just so important, isn't it, Hannah?
Yeah, it is important. But also, Jesse, I think another thing that's really important to remember is using bait balls. And growers can create bait balls by taking nylon pantyhose containing wheat seed and then soaking the bait in water and covering the bait trap with soil to create a mound over the bait without packing the soil. So I think also remembering to be sure to track the trap by placing a flag, it will make it easier to relocate the site. And that's also a great way to scout for wireworms.
Pretty easy, simple method there to create bait balls. Hannah, before we run out of time here today and wrap it up, anything else we haven't mentioned just about wireworms and management? And again, some of those great products from BASF that can help with some of that wireworm management?
Yeah, Jesse, it only takes one wireworm to cause destruction in your field. So I want to make sure that you remember that message, that it only takes one wireworm to create destruction in your fields. And creating those bait balls to keep track of where your wireworms may be is extremely crucial. And Taraxa F4 is the first product on the market that eliminates wireworms and provides long-term disease control as well. And there's no current competitors on the market today that can do what Taraxa can do.
Well, I'm sure if growers want to learn more about Taraxa or other great products from BASF, contact their local retailer or contact their local agronomist, etc. Go online, a lot of different ways to learn more information. Isn't there, Hannah?
Yes, absolutely, Jesse.
Well, we appreciate the time. Hannah Cymny with BASF, thanks for joining us here today and talking to us about wireworms. We'll hope to talk to you again soon.